Hey everybody, today I'm going to be doing Elvis Presley's debut album, ranking the songs that I prefer from least to best. And I'm really glad that I got around to doing this because this year in 2016 marks the 60th anniversary, 1956, that this album came out in March. So I'm going to start with the official Elvis albums now. I guess you call the studio albums, not the compilations. I'm going to tell you right from the top, one of the things that struck me when I was going through this record again after a while was, and it's going to be a little controversial, I think, as a whole, song for song, it's not a very consistent album. I know it's a classic album, it's a great album, or it goes down, but it's not as great as it could have been, I don't think, in my opinion, and I'm going to go through that as I go along. For example, the 12 tracks that are on here, first one that I'll go for least is Blue Moon. Now, Blue Moon, I can see already. I watched Ed's video, and he was talking about this album, and a lot of people in the comments didn't like that he didn't care much for Blue Moon, and I can see that like any other song that people put down, it's always going to have its supporters, and I'm not one of them. I think Blue Moon is cringeworthy with at least the parts with those things that Elvis does later on. Some people I noticed called it hauntingly beautiful. Well, I'm not one of those people. Haunting, yes. Hauntingly beautiful, not necessarily. I just really can't take it. I think it doesn't suit the mood of the rest of the album, and it just is something I don't like to hear. So that was an easy number 12 for me as the least. And number 11 isn't really far off. 11 and 12 were both easy to do for this album. Number 11 I went with I'll Never Let You Go, Little Darling, which the same as I said just before with Blue Moon. It's the same kind of style. I can't even decide if I was ranking these two. I don't know which is worse, Blue Moon or I'll Never Let You Go, Little Darling. Either one of them could be bottom. They just don't do it for me at all. So the same sentiments apply, unfortunately, to that one for me. Don't enjoy it. Now we're down to the 10. Now we'll call it a top 10 because there's only 12 songs, but even though I'm going to call these the top 10, looking at my list here, to be brutally honest, on this entire album I only really like 6 of the 12 songs very much, and maybe another 2 that I can enjoy somewhat. So I'd say I like really only 8 of these 12 songs. So when I get down to a top 10, for me personally, they're not all top 10. I'm inclined to say top 6. But let's go to the 10. We have I Love You Because bringing up the rear on the top 10 at number 10. You're going to notice, of course, on this particular album, it seems I'm going for the harder songs, heavier rockers first, near the favorites. Number 9, I put I'm Counting on You. I mean, I don't think that's a bad song. Neither is I Love You Because, really. I don't think that's bad, but neither one's my favorite. So I'm Counting on You is number 9. Number 8, I put Money Honey. Not much I can say about it, just that's where it falls on my list. Number 7, Just Because. That's a nice rollicking number, but it's not in my top 6. Now we're going to go to number 6. I'm going to Sit Right Down and Cry Over You. It's a fun song, I actually think the Beatles do that one better. I mean, the Beatles did that on the BBC, so I like the Beatles version, and I think I was a lot more used to hearing their version of doing that before I heard, Elvis's original. Well, Elvis is on this album, him doing it before the Beatles, I mean. So that's number 6. I'm going to Sit Right Down and Cry Over You. Now we got the top 5. Now, I can honestly say that in the top 5, I think all 5 of these are really great, and these could be put in just about any order because I think they're all really terrific, and they're the highlight easily for me of this album. Number 5, I Got a Woman, the Ray Charles song, which Elvis does a great job with. Number 4, I put Trying to Get to You at number 4, but that could, on another given day, I could put that number 1 or 2. All these next 4 to me are in contenders at number 1. So Trying to Get to You, number 4. Number 3, I went with the bouncy, fun, frolicking One-Sided Love Affair. I've always loved that song. That's a good time, that song. I really enjoy that, and I think that it could even be higher. And the two that I left are classic rockers. Tutti Frutti coming in at number 2. Elvis at his best early rockin', like Little Richard. Tutti Frutti, really, really good version of that. And number 1, I went with the Carl Perkins song, the best song on this album for my money, Blue Suede Shoes, and I think that I prefer Elvis's version of Blue Suede Shoes to Carl Perkins' version. So I have other things I want to say here about this. I was doing some research because I get a little mixed up on the recording dates. I was looking at some of the songs from 1956 that Elvis released as singles, like Don't Be Cruel and Hound Dog, and I started saying, wouldn't some of those be better served on this album? Then I realized they were recorded after this album was released in '56. So I didn't really know the recording months. So looking at the research, there's 3 songs that I like a lot better than some of the songs on here, and that's I Was the One. I would have loved I Was the One to be on here, and also My Baby Left Me, and the classic single Heartbreak Hotel. If Heartbreak Hotel, I Was the One, and My Baby Left Me had been on this particular record, I think it would be much more consistent and a lot better candidate for greatest album of Elvis, or one of the greatest albums of all time. It's a great early rocker. It's a great debut for Elvis, but I really do think it's flawed. I don't think it's consistent. So there's my half-ass review on this. Let me see what you think, folks.